All right, so now that we've added rational expressions, now we're going to go ahead and subtract them. And the number one thing to make sure you look out for is that it actually says subtraction here. That's how you know you have to subtract them. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to rewrite the f of x. So I'm just going to put 7x plus 5. And hopefully you already noticed they both have an x plus 3 in the denominator. Can't factor them. So then we're going to go ahead and put minus, then our g of x. So it's going to be x plus 4 over x plus 3. And since they have a common denominator, we know they're in love, and we're going to just go ahead and add the tops. But before we do that, remember our essential question says, what is the extra step when subtracting rational expressions? So here's that extra step. I want you to think of this as a parentheses over it. And what you have to do is you must distribute that negative. So think of it, that means do the opposite. Do the opposite of both of those on the top. So it was a positive 1x. Just write this back down. So it was a positive 1x. Now, since we distributed that, it's going to be a negative 1x. And it was a positive 4. Now it's going to become a negative 4. And we're going to keep it over that x plus 3. So just think we got to do the opposite of just the tops of the other one. And once you do that, once you distribute that negative to everything, this becomes a plus sign. And they are in love because they have a common denominator. So we're just going to combine the tops. And you're going to get 7x minus 1x, because they are like terms, and get 6x. And then we're going to have 5 minus 4, which is 1. And remember the key, when you're adding like terms, you just keep the same denominator. So that is our answer. You could try and factor the top, but we can't do anything. And we can't factor the bottom. And that's it. All right, let's kick it up a notch. Notice here. Oh, we're going to have to factor some things on this one. We're still adding. The only difference is when we're adding on this, we have an x squared plus 25. So I would want to factor that first. So I'm going to factor x minus 5, x plus 5. And obviously they're the same. So we know this bottom one's going to be the same thing. X minus 5, x plus 5. Because it's a difference of 2 squares. We know x times x is x squared, and we know 5 times 5 is 25, and they have to be opposite signs. Alrighty, so I'm just going to rewrite this. We're going to put 4 minus 8x all over x plus 5, or x minus 5x plus 5. And then remember our operation says, hey, you need to add these things together. Make sure you look at that. And then we're going to put 9x plus 1 over x minus 5, x plus 5. And then they have a common denominator, so that means they are in love. We're going to just add the tops. So make sure you add your like terms. So it's going to be negative 8x plus 9x. So negative 8x plus 9x is just 1x. And you can write the 1 or not write the 1. That's up to you. And then our next like term is going to be 4 plus 1. And we know 4 plus 1 is 5. And then we're going to put it over its common denominator, x minus 5, x plus 5. And remember, we only write one denominator. Same denominator, you just write 1. And that looks like a 151. Man, that's sloppy. Let me just erase it and start again. All right. And so hopefully now you notice we have the 1 there. We don't have to write it. I'm going to go ahead and erase it. So now we notice we have something on top that can cancel out with something on the bottom. And so this x plus 5 cancels with this x plus 5. And then the great thing about that is it becomes a 1. And so our final answer is 1 over x minus 5. And that is it. So make sure that x minus 5 is on the bottom. It is on the bottom. And so what has to be on the top? That one. All right, let's do one more, and then that's it. All right, so once again, I like to factor first. I know this is a trinomial because it has 1, 2, 3 terms. So I know I have to do that magic x. You don't have to do it anymore. Hopefully you can do it in your head, but we're going to just go ahead and show you this. So what multiplies to negative 10 but subtracts to 9? So we know it has to be 1 and 10. Since it is a negative 9, we know that 10, the large number, has to be negative, and the smaller number has to be positive, because negative 10 plus 1 is negative 9. All right, we're going to go ahead and write that. X plus 1, x minus 10. And this is the same thing, so we could just bring it down here as well. Alrighty, so now this one says we're going to subtract them. And so I'm going to go ahead and do it step by step by step. I'm going to write this function, which is 5x minus 2, over its factor denominator, x plus 1, x minus 10. And then we're going to put minus 4x minus 3 over its same denominator. Now, this is that extra step. Make sure you put parentheses around there and you distribute that. Do the opposite of both of those. So it says a positive 4x. We are going to change it to a negative 4x. It says a negative 3. We're going to change it to a positive 3. So you do the opposite sign. And once you do that, then this changes to a plus sign between here. And I'm just going to bring this down. 5x minus 2, x plus 1, x minus 10, over this denominator of x plus 1, x minus 10. Since they have a common denominator same, they're in love, and we're going to go ahead and combine the tops. And we have 5x. Remember, like terms, you got to make sure you combine like terms. 5x is a like term with negative 4x because they both have x's. So that's just going to be 1x or just x. And then we're going to do negative 2 plus 3, and that's going to be a positive 1. And all of that is going to be under the same denominator, x plus 1, x minus 10. And hopefully you realize the top, can't factor it, but sometimes you might have to factor it, cancels with the bottom. So that x plus 1 cancels with that x plus 1. And our answer, we have the x minus 10 on the bottom. What's going to be on top? Yep, you guessed it. It's just going to be a 1 on top. And that's it. All right, so hopefully that helps you out. Try those Delta Math practices. And remember, I'm always available during async time. So if you get stuck, make sure you come in and ask me for help. Thanks for watching.